everyone. Welcome back to Jikook Lovers. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful moments don't always come from loud laughter or dramatic scenes? Sometimes, it's the quietest moments, the ones that last only a few seconds, that feel the most honest and leave the deepest mark on the heart. When all 7 BTS members finally reunited, gathering together in one space at RM's house, the atmosphere felt warm, relaxed, and filled with genuine happiness. Nothing was forced. Nothing was staged. Smiles came naturally, soft laughter filled the room, and conversations flowed without pressure. Yet, in the middle of it all, there was one small moment that almost slipped by unnoticed. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't meant for the camera. But if you were truly paying attention, that moment spoke far more deeply than anything said that night. One gentle call, one spontaneous reaction, one instinctive act of care. And that's where the story begins. During BTS's live broadcast that night, an incident happened so quickly it was easy to miss. Yet it became one of the most meaningful fragments of the entire live. A moment that didn't try to steal the spotlight, but spoke more honestly than any grand scene ever could. Amid the relaxed atmosphere, filled with laughter, light teasing, and constant movement, Jimin quietly called Jungkook over. Not loudly, not with exaggerated gestures, just a single, simple word. "Come here," spoken softly, in a tone instantly recognizable to anyone who understands their dynamic. A different tone, not meant for everyone. A tone filled with care. Before Jungkook could even fully process the call, Jin, in his playful manner, gently pushed him toward the sofa. Jungkook lost his balance and fell forward, his head going down first as his body landed on the couch. It all happened in seconds. Laughter erupted. The mood stayed light. But among all the reactions, one stood out. The moment Jungkook fell, Jimin's focus shifted instantly. There was no laughter, no amused expression. His eyes locked onto Jungkook, fully alert, fully concentrated, as if the world around him had narrowed to a single point. "Are you okay? Is your neck okay?" The questions came out reflexively, as if they were already ingrained in him. Even before Jungkook could answer, Jimin leaned forward, his arm lifting, ready to steady him, ready to support him if needed. It wasn't staged. It wasn't deliberate. It was pure instinct. Jimin didn't let the moment pass. He asked Jungkook to sit beside him, closing the distance, making sure he could see his face clearly. Even when the joking continued around them, Jimin's attention never wavered. His hand gently touched Jungkook's neck, slow, careful, intentional. Not excessive, not for the camera. Just a brief motion, heavy with meaning. A protective act that needed no explanation. And that is where its beauty lies. No dramatic words. No exaggerated expressions. Just a quiet pause filled with concern. A deeply personal moment unfolding in front of millions. This is why Jikook's dynamic always feels different. They don't need grand declarations or dramatic scenes. A quick glance. A hand ready to support. A question asked at exactly the right moment. That's already more than enough. Everything feels spontaneous, warm, and profoundly human. And that moment didn't stand alone. Throughout the broadcast, the same subtle pattern repeated itself naturally. Every time Jungkook looked at Jimin, his expression softened into a wide, genuine smile. Not for the camera, not for entertainment, but the smile of someone who feels safe simply because a certain person is nearby. And every time Jimin smiled, his eyes almost instinctively searched for Jungkook. Even in group conversations, even surrounded by the other members, his gaze always found him, if only for a fraction of a second. As if the smile wasn't complete until Jungkook was there. No grand signals, no attention-seeking gestures, just quiet exchanges, over and over again. Jungkook smiles when he sees Jimin. Jimin looks for Jungkook when he smiles. A perfectly closed loop, wordless and effortless. What makes it most touching is how unconscious it all feels. They're not performing anything. They're simply being themselves. Between laughter and conversation, they create small spaces where their connection lives and breathes. That's why so many people replay this live broadcast again and again. Not because of big events, but because of small details that feel real. Gestures that can't be faked. Care that can't be manufactured. That night's BTS Live felt warm and grounded. All 7 members gathered to welcome the new year with ARMY, not as a formal event, but as a relaxed conversation in a space that felt like home. Jokes flowed. Interruptions happened naturally. Everything felt effortless. When the countdown began, 9, 8, and when 0 was called, cheers filled the room. Wishes were shared. Smiles were exchanged. Laughter followed. The night closed with warmth. The live ended without fireworks, without grand finales. And precisely because of that, it felt unforgettable. Behind the jokes and laughter, there was quiet care that couldn't be faked. A silent connection that didn't need to be announced. A calm presence, steady, constant, and always there. Jikook never need big words to explain what they have. Just one reflexive glance, one careful touch, one reaction that comes before logic has time to catch up. Because love doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes, it arrives in the softest ways, through care, protection, and the simple choice to stay close when the world grows noisy. Thank you for watching, Jikook lovers. If you felt the warmth of this small moment, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue finding beauty in the details that are often overlooked. Happy New Year! May this year bring health, happiness, and love for BTS and for all of us. See you in the next moment.